Welcome to the Somewhat Frank podcast, hosted by me, Frank Gruber, and joined by my friends and colleagues, Jen Consalvo and John Guidos. This podcast explores the latest trends and advancements in technology and business, including emerging startups and how they shape today while looking forward towards the future. We also enjoy testing new gadgets and products and sharing our findings too, along with our favorite pop culture picks like music, books, and what we're streaming. This podcast is produced in collaboration with our company, Established. Ready to dive in? Time to be somewhat frank. And welcome back to Somewhat Frank Podcast. I'm Frank Gruber, and I'm joined today by my colleagues Johnny Good Times Guidos, Jen can solve all your problems, Consalvo, and Simon the Kahan. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Hey, everyone.
All right. So, John, you were just away. We saw you catching sharks last week or whenever that was out in Florida. Tell us a little bit more about your adventure.
Yeah, we went down to Florida last week, had a great time, got to do a little bit of fishing, which is something I'm passionate about. For those of our listeners are curious, I don't eat fish a whole lot, but I do enjoy the sport of it. So we know we did catch some bull sharks, which was on my bucket list. I've never caught a bull shark before. Fun fact is they have the most testosterone in their blood of any animal, including African lions. So they are not friendly. But we caught two of those, about 100 pounds each. They put up a really big fight. And so you'll catch them, and sometimes they have hooks from other anglers so we actually pulled some hooks out of the fish we caught. So we actually did them a service. Not only did we not keep them, we also helped them out. And we released them.
You're saving the bull sharks down in
Florida. Saved the bull sharks. Yep. And we went and rented a boat and went to some private islands and that sort of thing. Although I will say, disclaimer or a warning to people, we got bit up by, I guess they're called no-see-ums. You can't see them, but we had bites all over our bodies. It was terrible. But overall, it was a great trip. Got to do a little bit of fishing and had some fun in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. I saw that we shared some of the video last week. It looked pretty awesome. Those sharks did not look like I would want to be messing with them in the water or out. So great job with that. Glad you were saving them.
The scariest thing is that where we caught them was in the bay, and it looks like every other part of the bay you've ever seen. And I would have went swimming there had I not caught sharks there. So you can imagine bull sharks, I think, are known to attack more than any other shark. I mean, great whites are known because of the movies Jaws and how big they are and stuff. But I think bull sharks are actually the ones you got to worry about. And trust me when I tell you, it looked like any other piece of water that you would go swimming in regularly. So it's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Can they swim in fresh water as well?
They do. They actually thrive. Great question, Simon. They thrive in brackish water, which is where fresh water and salt water meet each other, like in a river, kind of like at the mouth of a river. So that's right where we caught them.
Right where that place where you're like, oh, this looks like a good spot to jump in. That's
actually my favorite place. Like anytime, like right near us, we have a river that meets the ocean, and it's like the most fun little area to play in. Mm-hmm. And I almost stepped on, what was the kind of fish I almost stepped on? It's very spiky rockfish a couple summers ago, and it made me, because the river had drained out, and I was like, oh my, these are down here. Sculpin.
Sculpin, yeah. She almost stepped on a sculpin. It was really cool looking, but also scary looking. And I guess apparently that's where the bull sharks like to hang too. So keep that in mind. Speaking of getting bit up, dengue fever. Did you hear about this? Dengue fever is historically at a high right now. So something to also think about when you're down and away in actually Florida and other places. There's been a bunch of people getting sick from it, and it's been transmitted in California, Arizona, Florida, and Texas. And with over 176 cases so far in 2024. And so something to think about. And so if you ever have symptoms of a fever, headache, fatigue, nausea, rash, body aches, it could be that. And it is fatal. So one in 20 cases are fatal. So something to think about, put on that bug spray or whatever. And if you're out in those areas. So hopefully you didn't get bit by anything like that down there, John.
No, but you did send me that link when I was down there, and I definitely made sure not to show my wife that link because we were really bit up. And of course it was my fault, right? So
Yep. All right, sounds good. Moving over, Jen, what have you been up to? What's going on?
Well, work, but I am looking forward to hopefully some yoga and some time outside this weekend. So I know The forecast is a little iffy, but it's unpredictable, which means it could be awesome. And so I'm looking forward to just maybe some beach walks, some running, some yoga, outside time.
Well, you know the old adage, right? Like Maine weather consists of all the seasons in one time, especially summer. So we had cold and fog this morning, and then it rained, and then it got sunny and 75, and now it's back to a little bit dreary and like 60s and breezy.
But maybe we'll have a gorgeous sunset. Who knows?
Yeah, it could have a beautiful sunset, and then it might snow. I don't know. It's all everything. It keeps you on your toes. So look forward to that. Simon, what's going on? What's good?
Well, not too much. I'm meeting my brother on tour on Saturday. I'm meeting him in Minneapolis. He's playing at the XL Center or something.
Oh,
And
just so
then,
people are familiar, they may not realize who your brother is or what you're up to. So share that.
yeah, he's just a Noah Collins singer-songwriter, brother of mine. He's really not that cool. Okay, everyone gives him way too much credit. But he invited me on tour, and he's doing a bunch of shows around the country right now. So meeting him in Minneapolis, going to Texas. Great for sad people. Or not sad, happy people too, sad or happy. So I'm really excited. And it should be fun.
Okay, that's awesome. Are you going to get on stage and sing? What do you think?
I don't know. Probably not. I think those days are long gone. But if I get him just drunk enough, then he might agree to it. Sort of the.
When was the last time you did do that? It was fairly recently.
I went on stage last year at Pier 17 in New York, and then some venues in San Diego.
Cool. What are the main songs you sing, just so I know?
I only sing one song on there called New Perspective, just because he and I kind of wrote it during the COVID pandemic, actually.
Oh, really cool. I like that song. And I guess
Well,
for all
that's now my favorite song, Simon.
that is our
that's
song.
mandatory
We're
listening now.
gonna be playing that on repeat over here this weekend. I actually do really like the song a lot. I really like the mandolin. I don't know if you played the mandolin in that song, but that is
No, I can't. Mandolin's great though. Really cool. I didn't even know it was an instrument until like a year ago.
It's amazing. That song's particularly the ending is really, really good. So not that it was over that the mandolin jumped in there at the end is really what I was getting at. And so that's really exciting. And then one more question. You are also on an album too, all right? Is this correct? My notes correct on this?
I'm also on an album. It's very small text at the bottom, but I'm on Cape Elizabeth, which is his third EP or third album, from my understanding.
Which brings it back to Maine, which is where that was recorded. And we are in Maine right now. So Cape Elizabeth, for those not familiar, is in Maine, and there's a song called Maine on it. So great to have pull that back in and back to the weather here in Maine. I've been doing a 9-day, well, so it's actually a 30-day daily running challenge. And so far I've ran in fog and rain and sun and wind and cold, and it's only been 9 days. So I can't wait to see what the rest of it brings. But every day I've been running over, and this is kind of somewhat inspired by what we talked about with Jamila last week. I just started this little challenge, and she was saying how she's been working out crazily over the last several months early in the morning. I've been doing this where I run a mile plus, over a mile, so about two to 3 miles actually every single day. Sometimes you can't get that amount of time, so that's when I cut it back to a little bit less. But feeling pretty good. Like actually, body hasn't fallen apart yet, so that's pretty good. I'm not 26 years old anymore, so running every day does need a little bit more, like, you know, a little more recovery. So anyway, that's my challenge. I'm going to continue. We'll see how it goes for the next several weeks, I guess. All right. Next up, we're going to jump right in here. I know we're tight on time today. We're going to keep this pod a little tighter than usual. So rapid fire here. We had there's a billionaire-backed Texas stock exchange that's in the works, and it's there's other places that have stock exchanges, but the most notable ones we know of are in New York, where you got the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, and then obviously Chicago and Philly also have stock exchanges. But now we're going to have the TXSE, the Texas Stock Exchange, and they're looking to basically, create a place in Dallas where there's, about 100 people working out of it, and start trading in 2015. And so it's interesting as we see Texas as being a place where Elon Musk and Tesla and some of these other places, Austin being a hub for a lot of different startup companies and bigger companies creating their hubs there, and then obviously now Dallas and others. So Texas is really a big state, and obviously now representing on the stock exchange side. So any thoughts, anybody?
Well, first, Frank, I think you meant 2025 is when
What did I say?
trading.
2025? What did I say?
2015. So
oh,
big
yeah,
deal.
that was in the past. 2025. We're going towards the future. Yep. Thanks for that correction.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there. I think it's pretty interesting, right? I think that, having these regional trading, platforms would be pretty interesting. I remember years ago going to the Chicago Stock Exchange where they used to have it, actually. I think it was in the art museum over there. And so you can actually walk in this big room, and at one point it was the Chicago Commodities Exchange, and it's like just a big empty room now because it got eaten up at some point by the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange or something like that. So it'd be interesting to see what they do.
I definitely remember going to see the commodity traders. It was really fun to watch them doing all their things, whatever they did with their hands.
That's gone now. They don't do that anymore, which is crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off as well. They went and watched them, if you remember that part. But that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've never understood how that was like an effective way of, where all the because you're talking about where all the people are yelling and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never understood that. How do you hear anybody?
Yeah,
they used to. I mean, I knew guys that did it right out of college, and real close friends of mine, and it was like $2 million to have a spot on the floor, the trading floor. So it was a big deal, and they've completely digitalized and gone away with all of that right now. So I don't even think they do it to the same extent anymore. And Chicago is no longer there, which is also interesting. But I do see that, this article that you sent, Frank, is, it's backed by billionaire Citadel's CEO, Ken Griffin, who has openly, criticized certain ideologies and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be a somewhat anti-woke exchange, which is kind of an interesting spin on it as well. So.
Interesting. Yeah. Wasn't he's Chicago too, right?
Ken Griffin, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chicago, and they moved. Yeah, right. So he moved or whatever out of there. So, all right. So yeah, so let's keep moving here. This is interesting. We're going virtual now. Ikea, which we're all familiar with, right? We like to eat those Swedish meatballs and ice cream cones at Ikea in their diner area, and had all the furniture, right? We get to put it all together. Actually, we shouldn't be not. I like Ikea. I'm a big fan of Ikea. It organizes your life sometimes. Anyway, Ikea is actually launching a coworker game, a virtual store in Roblox, the game. So on June 24th, they're hiring 10 paid workers to operate it, which is I think about it, like, gosh, this is where we're worried about like jobs going away because of AI, and here we are like introducing new jobs in a virtual world. So I thought it was an interesting opportunity for people. Any Roblox fans out there?
I've never played it, but I was trying to understand a little bit more. What I think it's like a virtual showroom, right? So you walk in there and they'll have IKEA's hiring people to show you around and dip various products in the showroom. So I don't know. There's other companies that have tried to do something similar. So it's just the future, right? It's a couple years ago too, when it was Web3. I mean, everybody was thinking they were going virtual with like showrooms and just everything, right? So I guess back out there.
Jen, go ahead.
So I think this will be interesting. And as someone who I was introduced to Roblox because I have a young child who who loves it. She's obsessed with it. She's on it. All of her friends are on it. But little did I realize, so is everyone else. And there's no real parental controls right now. So it's very controversial, and all the parents are trying to figure out like, how do we move her away? But what I'm wondering is if you start to see some mainstream brands in there, if it'll start to force Roblox to improve their product, to improve the parental controls, to clean it up, because it's user created content. So someone can go in there and create a strip club and create all these different things that it's a virtual world. They can build these different elements to it that you don't necessarily want your young child exposed to. I don't mind them seeing IKEA, right? And I'm sure IKEA would like a clean environment for their own store. So, I think this hopefully could be a good positive step for them.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, to say the least. And I think just more opportunity for people to do things in different platforms versus like, as jobs are going away, this could be another opportunity as you think about virtual worlds and things that they're going to be popping up. I'm not a big Roblox person, but like you mentioned, Jen, that is something that we've been exposed to. And when you mentioned guardrails, it brought my attention back to, there was recently a new kind of a news, I guess, take on guardrails around Apple. So I don't know if you saw the latest news, but like Apple has parental controls on their devices, and like they target like, having kids use like iPads and things like that. And so we're not going to go into how bad that is for kids to use iPads, or phones at an early age, but because you can see, literally try taking one away from a child and see what happens. It's like volatile, right? Like really bad. Like they get angry really quickly. But anyway, so these parental controls, we realized real time that like that doesn't include music all the time. So like, for example, you can put the parental controls on, and then all of a sudden they're getting suggested music, and next thing you know, your daughter or son is dropping F-bombs because they're rapping along with the music that was suggested to them, because they're getting an explicit version. So it sounds like Apple's going to try to clean that up, and that was just recently announced. So that's good. I'm assuming there's other things besides just the Apple related stuff that's coming out, but yeah, and then obviously,
so Frank, one thing I wanted to mention, it made me think of, is I recently saw an article that
Starlink,
Elon Musk brought Starlink to a remote tribe that hadn't been, that's like indigenous tribe, right? They've never been exposed to humans and technologies and stuff like that. And they immediately got hooked on porn and social media.
That is not surprising, right? Like,
right.
But funny as well. But I think it was also circulating on Instagram. But yeah, New York Times did a thing on it, and crazy, right? Like those are the two areas.
But I think what was so amazing about that article, John, that you just mentioned, is that they actually, as a village, decided to implement structure around it. And so the entire village has rules. So they only allow themselves to look at like social media and porn at certain times of the day. And the other times of the day, they're not allowed to look at it. So they're trying to create norms and structure to try to help protect themselves from the addiction that they immediately saw was happening.
Well, it's such a great case study, right? Go ahead, Simon.
Oh, I was saying we should get them into sports gambling and see what happens.
No, it's like talk about like the perfect set of people that's never seen anything. Now you're like, what do you think of this? And see what happens.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen with anything. So like,
it's a good control group for sure.
Yeah, great control group. Just like keep sending him stuff. But gosh, that poor tribe has got to go through all this, like try to figure out their own,
Sounds like they're doing just fine to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. But to get their own restrictions around it, that is quite wild that was the situation that quickly. But yeah. So moving along, talking about Elon Musk, we talked about his supercomputer last time on the podcast. I saw in the news that they're trying to get it in Memphis. He's opening up this AI company, xAI in Memphis, as a potential place for their I guess data center. And so he's looking at a facility there, and so that was just in the Memphis news anyway. So it'll be interesting. We know some friends in Memphis that are doing a bunch of stuff down there in the AI space. So and in the startup space. So obviously, right in the heart of Memphis might make sense. And also, if you've ever been to Memphis, they have one of the wonders of the world there with that pyramid that is actually Bass Pro Shop. So I don't know if you've ever seen, but
I've always wanted to go there.
Right in the Mississippi River. It's like we have a pyramid in the United States. It's literally Bass Pro Shop. So add that to your next stop, I guess, if you're ever in Tennessee. It's pretty cool.
I really like how Musk said, my vision is to build the world's largest and most powerful supercomputer, and I'm willing to put it in Memphis.
Right. Yeah.
I'm willing. So yeah, I guess the deal's not quite done.
Seems like he's waiting to see what the deal looks like from what are the obviously breaks and everything going to be looking like from doing that. But still interesting. Could be good for the area. Obviously great for jobs in Memphis. There are other people based in Memphis. FedEx has a lot of headquarters there. So so there's other groups there too. So could be good for that area for sure. And Tennessee in general has been just blowing up, right? They got, I mean, in a good way, right? You got a lot going on in Tennessee, from an innovation perspective, and Chattanooga, and then Nashville, obviously.
Well, they're doing it right. They're really incentivizing with tax breaks, et cetera, to get companies to move into that area. And I know that there's some local people down there, is my understanding, around Nashville, that are telling, please keep people out, right? Like because there's been this huge influx of people in. The infrastructure is at this point just trying to catch up, and a lot of things are moving that way to the Nashville area anyways. I'm sure Memphis could use a little bit of this financial spike from the moving some of these companies there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what else we got in the news this week. We had Boeing's Starliner spacecraft lifted off with its crew and launched. So that's good news as they headed up to the International Space Station. It's a significant milestone, obviously, because they're leveraging SpaceX, right, for that their capsule. So that's a big kind of. It went well, so that's good. Anything rocket related always makes me, a little bit sensitive to that, making sure that it goes off right. So good news there. And but it did have the mission had like a bunch of delays, if I recall, and so that was the other thing that kind of made everyone a little bit on edge. So
well, I think the more interesting dynamic here is, years ago, it must have been during the Obama administration, they made an effort to allow the space race to go into the commercial sector, into the private sector, and said historically it had been all NASA for the most part, right? I know that Boeing is a big organization, but now you have companies like SpaceX and Bezos's company and now Boeing. They're all kind of pushing each other, and definitely seen a huge spike there in technology and advancements in the past couple of years, which is great.
Yep,
definitely.
That's definitely true.
I think if you've ever seen the videos of the reusable rockets like re-entering the atmosphere and landing on a platform, it is the coolest, like most futuristic thing ever. Like I think maybe NASA was moving fast, but it seems like the public-private partnership kind of model is just pushing things exponentially, which is really exciting.
I agree. And we can drop one of those videos into the show notes because it looks like it's a video game. Like the landing of a SpaceX rocket, it just doesn't look real to me. So it just doesn't look like it should be happening, right? And so I think it's pretty amazing. So anyway, all right, moving along, we're gonna just jump right into testing because I know we're testing some things out here and wanted to kind of move into our latter part, maybe the back nine here of our podcast. If we want a golf analogy, that was for you, Simon. All right, so let's move on here. So we've been testing this product, if you can see it. It's called Sensate. Can you guys see it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I can't even see myself. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna put it on. This is how you put it on. You're supposed to wear it around your neck, like this, and it's supposed to be like right around your chest. And you push the little button, and you have a little app. And what it does is it creates it basically is supposed to help you handle stress. So do I seem pretty chill that I now have it on my neck? Probably, right? Because I have this thing. It uses vibrations and sound, and it plays music out of this this little phone you have, and it makes this like kind of naturey sounds and things for in just 10 minutes. It's supposed to lower your stress level, make you relax, and also lower depression, which I wasn't even depressed to begin with. So I think I feel much happier knowing that, but also now happier that I'm wearing this device. And yeah, and so within 10 minutes you can benefit, improves your sleep and lowers your anxiety and makes you focused, very focused. And yeah, and it reminds me of like I'm not a big cat person, but I do know what a cat, I've had cats around and I've heard them purr before. And it kind of reminds me of like having like a purring cat like on your chest. So you can imagine that, like supposed to sit right here. And so you can lay down, close your eyes, listen to this music and just like pass out a little bit. And it works pretty well. It's kind of like having these calming effects that people are looking for. And so it costs about $365 for the basic version. Props to Tim Friedel, who actually lent me this. Tim and Jennifer King, fans of ours, and like let me borrow this for this particular reason, but also to just try it out. And yeah, it's also it's a really interesting device. It's also they're raising funds right now, so we'll drop a link in the show notes. If you're interested in testing it out and also becoming a supporter, you can do that. But I like it. So far, there's other devices that are bigger, more expensive. Like we've tested like, relaxation chairs and like we'll be testing some more different kinds of products like that in the future here. And this one is pretty, for $364 for basic or $429 for the plus pack. That's not crazy if it's going to help you relax. So thought it was pretty cool. And it happened.
Is there
Happy to demonstrate if you like.
Is there a variable speed depending upon how much you need to chill out a
Yeah,
little
there
bit?
is. Yeah, there's different yeah, it's got different vibrations, different I guess almost like you're using your iPhone for music. It's like almost like little playlists of like sounds and links of like relaxation and all that. So it's pretty
And
cool.
it fixes depression.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's helpful.
Yeah.
We should tell the government or something.
Fixes might be a strong word.
Lowers depression is what they're saying. Lowers. I mean,
Can you wear more than one?
What's that?
Can you wear more than one
at one time?
They wrap them around your body.
I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be right here, but it's I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna the next couple of weeks I'll try doing it before bed to see if it makes me go to sleep sooner, because that'd be good. Because I don't know if you all get into that like that death scroll of like, oh gosh, I just spent 30 minutes. I should have been asleep. That's what I do. Anyway, so something to think about. And we'll drop it's wefunder.com/Sensate, SENSATE is where you can find it if you want to check out the crowdfunding, or just go to getsensate.com to learn more about it. All right, moving along. Johnny, what's going on? What are you testing?
Well, I'm testing. So I have some bad news. Our favorite chicken recently got attacked.
Oh,
it was a brutal assault. She did not make it. Her name was Gloria. Everybody say her name. Think of her, Gloria.
Sorry.
She was our prized Polish chicken.
Pull her up. We'll pull her up right now. Okay, go ahead. Keep talking about Gloria.
Well, yeah, she was our prized Polish chicken, and she didn't make it. So I went out and purchased 3 traps, and then they're spread out around the chicken coop, and I'm going to avenge her death. I'm going to catch whatever got her, and it's going to be a bad day for whatever that was. So
she's so
I'll
pretty.
keep you updated.
She's such a pretty bird.
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
And she was a good bird. My wife's theory is that because she was Polish, so she had wings in front of her eyes, and so she thought she couldn't see, and that she walked up to the side of the fence, and something grabbed her through the fence. So that's the running theory right now. I'll let y'all know what happens, but probably a raccoon or a fox or something like that.
Right.
But I'm working on finding out the culprit with the traps that I'm testing out there.
Wow. This is reminding me of Only Murders in the Building, and like maybe there should just be this whole long, case going on. We're gonna really follow this to the end.
I appreciate that. I'm going to crack this case wide open. Trust me, I have every theory went through my head. Is it a disgruntled neighbor? Was it one of the other chickens attacked, or was it? I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, excellent. And that's really. I'm sorry about that. That's going to be tough. Something that we're going to have to deal with. We still got the live chickens. Let's go to the chicken cam. Right there, they are. There they are, just making all sorts of noise and mess. But we love our chickens. We're still at 11. And long story short, here I've finally ordered. I figured out we're getting the omelet, not because we're gonna make omelets out of our chickens, but that's what it's called. Omelet's got this igloo cube thing that's like it's a coop and a run, and it's on its way. So excited to get that, and then go through the thousands of directions to try to put things together and get them outside soon. So that's exciting. But the reason I want to bring it up is Predator. It's supposed to be really solid from a Predator perspective as far as deterrent. It's got some extra steps that they put in. So hopefully that's true, because I don't want to have to deal with what you just dealt with. So, but it did definitely bring it to light, John. It's like, I don't know how our little one would handle that situation. Not well.
Not good. My wife found her and was crying pretty bad. So
yeah, I can imagine. It's sad. All right, moving along. Jen, how's it going? You're rolling some foam?
I am rolling old school right now. I think I'm the last in the world to test out foam rollers, but I just bought myself a foam roller and I love it. I am using it daily. And for anyone out there who has never used one, if you have any sore muscles, have any issues there, Frank, I'll let you try my.
Well, I'm going to, if I keep this running up. It's a certain point. I don't know if those legs are going to.
I always just looked not down upon them, but I looked past them when I saw them in the gym or wherever. And now I completely understand it. I am on board with the foam roller. And I'm also, again, rolling old school here. I'm trying to improve my sleep. And so I'm really trying to put the phone away, put it on. Yes, I'm going to try out the Sense8.
Yeah.
And I put my phone on airplane mode every night, and I am trying to just get out my book with my little tiny reading light. So the lights are off, my tiny reading light, and read until my eyes are like drooping, put it down, and my sleep has really improved.
For me,
say.
that's about a page and a half.
So I'm really going from my high tech testing to my my lo-fi, low tech.
Nice
testing.
work. Great. Yeah. Can't wait to see the results. And Tom Brady's big on those foam rollers. I think I told you that before. So
you've mentioned that a few times. I went with like just the run of the mill foam roller to start, but I like them so much. Who knows? Maybe I'll upgrade.
All right, we'll do. All right, Simon, what are you up to? What are you testing over there?
So I've had these before, but I found a store in Brooklyn that sells pickle flavored Lay's chips.
Ooh, those are the best.
And yeah, normally people look down on me when I say it. They're phenomenal.
I love pickles.
I've been eating them. And it's great. And I'm really happy, and I think I'll continue eating them. Probably my favorite chip.
Awesome. I love it. Super, super simple, but hard to find. Hard to find, and
very hard to find.
And not everyone loves them, like you said.
Yeah, it's kind of taboo, unfortunately.
It is. And if there was a pickle festival, I would go to it because I love dill pickles. Not those sweet ones, Jen. Get those out of here. Those should not even exist.
Wah.
Yeah, sorry. All the people that make those sweet pickles. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, moving along. What are we watching? And we got to wrap here soon because I'm actually late for a haircut. I'm not even joking. This is a legit problem right now. So sorry, Joey. I'll be there shortly. Give him a quick shout out. J Spin. He's actually an artist. If you go look him up on YouTube, we'll drop a link. He's also my hairdresser, and he cuts my hair. But he's a rapper and singer and writer, and he's actually really good. So he has music videos. It was pretty impressive. So anyway, gotta go see him here shortly. Now you already texted him, and I'm gonna be a second late. So all right, diving right in here. We've got Disney's got a new Star Wars series that just launched like yesterday. And if you're any Star Wars fan, I'm a Star Wars fan and grew up watching Star Wars. I just watched it. It's called, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher this, but I think it's called Acolyte. And it's really good. I've watched two there's already 2 episodes out. So go check it out. It's it's 100 years before the Empire. So if you're familiar with Star Wars and what the Empire is, I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you because if you don't know what that is, it's going to make no sense. But if you watch all those movies, it's 100 years before the Empire, and it has to do with some Jedi masters and this one Jedi assassin they're trying to track down. So check it out. It's pretty good so far. And I guess on Rotten Tomatoes, they think the same. 93% rating. It's pretty high. So not too bad. All right, Johnny, what are you watching?
Well, one thing I watched on a flight back from Florida was Musica. It's Rudy Mancuso. He wrote and directed it, I believe, and it's a cute love story. I think it's kind of based on his life a little bit, and it stars him and Camila Mendez, who I'm a big fan of. And I followed him for years on Instagram. I didn't even know who he was, but he's a kind of a musician that makes sounds out of like random household items and stuff like that. And it's part of the story. It's well done. It's kind of cute. He has some puppets in there and stuff like that. So it is kid friendly as well, I think, a little. Most of it's kid friendly anyways. Frank, if you watched it, I suggested it to you.
I have not. I've added it to my queue though. I will watch it soon. Definitely right up my alley. So I'll check that out. Again, 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So very high ratings here for these shows. Simon, what are you watching? Or is this, I guess, listening?
Well, so I've been watching, I never really listened or watched his concerts when I was younger, but lately I've been into Michael Jackson, like watching videos of Michael Jackson. I mean, that guy could dance. It's crazy. It just wasn't a thing for me as a kid, but now I'm watching it. Like, I miss him. I also miss Whitney Houston too, along the same lines.
I agree. They're both really talented. Michael Jackson was unbelievable. I mean,
it was crazy. Like, I've been trying to do his dance. It doesn't really make even any sense. Maybe a checkered history from that guy, but
yeah, he knew the industry. I mean,
major contributions. Yes,
major contribution. Yes. And I remember when Thriller came out, I was 6, and gosh, I love that album. I listened to it and danced and did all sorts of things. So,
but fun fact, real quick: did y'all know that Eddie Van Halen played the guitar solo on "Beat It," the song "Beat It" by Michael Jackson?
No, that's amazing.
Oh, he died recently too.
He did, yeah. But I was watching some sort of a documentary about somebody that produced some of Michael Jackson's songs for him, and yeah, Eddie Van Halen played the guitar solo. So next time you watch "Beat It," the guitar in the background, that's Eddie Van Halen.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Sheryl Crow one of his background singers?
Really?
I think she got her start. I think she went on tour with Michael Jackson.
Wow,
that's
lots of famous people.
Yeah, wow, that's great. But yeah, big fan of him. Sorry, obviously had some checkered past there as well. But musically, really talented. All right, Jen, what are you watching?
Okay,
Or listening?
2 things.
What?
One, Dr. Shireen Idris. She's a dermatologist in New York. I've been just a little bit obsessed with her YouTube channel. She has so much content and she talks about skincare and hair care and all those things, which are things that I don't normally care about at all. But I love her and she's so fun to watch and listen to. So I'm kind of obsessed with her. And my daughter actually introduced me to a fun band called Walk Off the Earth. Some of you may know them. They have awesome videos to watch on YouTube. So they take some of the popular songs out there and they have their own work too. So I shouldn't just call them a cover band, but they do amazing covers and the videos are just really humorous and fun to watch.
Wow, you're so like hip watching everything on YouTube. It's pretty cool.
It's become my entertainment, my preference, which is sad.
Yeah, no, they got some legs there. Maybe it's gonna stick around, I think.
Might be.
might be onto something. Anyway, moving on, final thought here, and we're gonna wrap because I don't know how long Joey can wait for me here. Without charging my credit card first. Anyway, moving on here. So final thought. I don't know. Did any of you grow up or continue to watch? I remember doing this growing up. That's why I asked. The Wheel of Fortune. We used to be like a staple in my home when I was a kid. We'd watch it at dinner time as things were getting kind of ready to go, and then not during dinner, but like before or after. And I wanted to hear if you all were fans of Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, of course. It's like a like a classic, right?
Absolutely. Well, today was the last day that Pat Sajak will be the host. He's hosted for 41 years, 41 seasons, 8,010 episodes, and that's a world record, Guinness Book of World Records record for longest host on the same show. And pretty amazing. He started in 1981 and came over as a broadcaster he was a TV weather forecaster in Los Angeles, and before that he was a DJ at the Armed Forces station because he served in Vietnam as well. So 77 years old, Pat Sajak is retiring, and co-host Vanna White is going to take over until at least 2026 is what they had said. So we'll see. And he shared his gratitude on the last episode by acknowledging all the fans and special thanks before he had to go. And obviously said it was an incredible privilege to be invited into millions of homes night after night, decade after decade. And I always felt the privilege came with the responsibility to keep the daily half hour a safe place for family fun. No social issues, no politics, nothing embarrassing, I hope, just a game. But gradually it became more than that. So thank you, Pat Sajak. He's like the Iron Man of game show hosting, it sounds like. So big fan. Thanks for doing what you do, and obviously best of luck in your retirement.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wheel of Fortune. Please do not adjust your sets at home. Chuck Woolery has not shrunk. A lot of people are playing with their vertical hold right now. As Jack mentioned, my name is Pat Sajak, and I've been fortunate enough to wander onto the set of a very successful program, has been for a long time.
Totally different look of 1981 to now, I guess, as you could say, as far as the show itself, a little more glitzy nowadays than it was before. But anyway, really great. Thank you, Pat Sajak. Any other thoughts before we depart today? All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate everyone listening. Have a great day, weekend, and hug your loved ones out there. Thanks for listening to the Somewhat Frank podcast. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and leave us a review. We love the feedback and are grateful to have you as a listener. Have a great day.